All right. Hi, everybody. This is Ashish Fernando. We are still waiting for some people to join, but we are live on the Zoom webinar and we are also live on YouTube. So that means that we're going to soon get, knowing all our previous webinars, we should expect around 500 to 1,000 people on the webinar. So we're going to wait for a few minutes while we get all the late Saturday risers wake up and join the webinar. Yes? Okay. I would say we'll wait till about 11:03 Indian time. Hello, Nikhil, Alka, Oluwatosin. I hope I pronounced that name right. We have Shanuja and Vishwaja as of now on the Zoom webinar. And we have a bunch of folks on the YouTube live as well, whose names we don't see here. Welcome everybody, all the 10 of you. Till then, let's test our chat function. Okay. Let's see how do we do this. Okay. Present. Okay, it's 11:03. I'm just trying to figure out a couple of things here. I'm right now in Hyderabad in India. I just came 2 days ago to India from Boston. That's where I live, and I run all of iSchoolConnect's work in the US. But it's been a crazy Christmas break. It was not really a break. I had to work all day, all night because there were so many students applying through us for fall of 2020, and most of the R1 deadlines are coming close, as most of you know. They close around end of December mostly, for especially the B schools. So we've been just up all day, all night. And meanwhile, I said, why not I just travel to India and spend time with the team here and also help students here. So I'm in Hyderabad. Tomorrow I'll be in Cochin, and then I go back to Mumbai on the 2nd. So it's going to be some crazy traveling over the next few days. But I hope to see some of you guys who are there in those cities as well. Okay, so it's 11:04, 4 minutes past the clock. I think we should start. So welcome again, everybody. I think we have about 13 people on the webinar, on the Zoom webinar, and I think we have close to 200 on YouTube Live. So welcome, everybody. Most of you know me, but for those who don't, I will introduce myself again. I'm Ashish Fernando, and I'm the CEO and founder of iSchoolConnect. I am a student myself, used to be actually, and through all of my experiences with studying abroad, studying in the US, and applying to multiple schools, I figured out that there was definitely a need and a help that a lot of students like yourselves needed. So that's when we launched iSchoolConnect, and it's been an amazing journey for the last 3 years, helping hundreds and thousands of students apply to colleges and schools across the globe. So it's just amazing to meet some of them. I met a couple of the students who got placed and who got an admit as well as a visa. I met them yesterday and it was just amazing. So we'll go straight to the topic. Today, what we're going to talk about is the statement of purpose. So a lot of you are now in that phase where you've probably decided what schools you want to apply to. You have your list of dream schools, your list of safe schools, and you're now getting into documentation. So this webinar is appropriate for people who are at that stage of their applications. One of the most important documents that need to be submitted are a statement of purpose. We'll talk a little bit about that. Okay, I'm not able to move. Okay. Yes, so we'll be talking today about what a statement of purpose is, and it's different from a personal statement. So you got to understand, schools can ask you for a statement of purpose or a personal statement. These are different things. Then we'll talk about what should an SOP do for you and for the school, actually. Pardon the noise outside. We'll talk a little bit about what's the content mix that goes into a statement of purpose. What is it that you actually have to make sure your SOP contains? And then we'll talk a little bit about the writing style, right? Because there's a lot of false notions that an SOP should have the best English with the best words from your dictionary and your thesaurus. And so we'll decode a little bit of how to actually write it. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can send your questions over. I don't think I'm receiving them properly, but if not, anyways, I have my team on standby and they will be there to help us, right? Okay, so let's get started. I'll also have a little bit of my notes open. I've been preparing for this webinar for some time, so I've put some notes together. Okay. So, first of all, let's just define what a statement of purpose is, right? So a statement of purpose is part of your essay prompts. So schools will ask you to write essays that are part of your application, right? A statement of purpose can either be listed just as write a statement of purpose for 2 pages or 2,000 words or something, or it can come as an essay prompt. And the essay prompt will basically say something like, tell us about yourself and why you think this program is a perfect fit for you, right? Any question that is asking you to describe yourself and your profile, or it's asking you to tell them about your motivation to join that program or go to that country, that is technically a statement of purpose. And you have to look at it with that lens, right? You have to look at it with a statement of purpose lens. So it's an essay that tells the admission committee who you are as a person, why you're applying to that particular program and that particular institution and not the 4,000 other institutions that compete with them. Why are you a good candidate and why should they choose you over all the hundreds and thousands of applications that they receive that year? And finally, what do you want to do in the future? Is it worthwhile for them to invest their time and resources on you so you build your future in a way in which you come back and you are a proud alumni of that institution and they can talk about you, right? So these are, I would say, the 3-4 items that go into an SOP. So this is a very kind of broad stroke on what a statement of purpose is, and we'll start going a little deeper, right? But the important distinction that you have to make is some schools will also ask you sometimes to write a personal statement. So a personal statement is different from a statement of purpose. I know these are just confusing, puzzling words, but remember the simplest way to look at it is if you're asked to write a personal statement, it's only about your past. Right? A personal statement is essentially describing your resume in words. That's how it is. But a statement of purpose is very different. A statement of purpose is your past and your future and the middle, which is the actual program. And you have to tie your past and your future together using the program, saying this is why I want to go to this particular program and this particular institution, because my future goals and my past need to be aligned, and this program will help me align it. That's what a statement of purpose is, right? Now, a statement of purpose is required for almost every master's program, right, which is a grad degree. But for undergrad also, they might ask you for a statement of purpose. Sometimes, mostly actually for undergrad, they will ask you for a personal statement, right? Because they feel, okay, you're still, it's your future and your vision is still not defined, and it's kind of blurry in your head, right? At least for me, it was when I was doing my undergrad, my future wasn't really very bright in my head. So they will basically ask you for a personal statement, right? But an SOP technically applies to a lot of grad programs, right? Okay, so these are the 4 aspects, again, just kind of giving you the high points on what should go into an SOP. You should definitely write about your qualifications, basically everything from your academic qualifications and your work qualifications. But there's a little twist. So always know that an SOP should not be repeating your resume. They already have your resume. In your SOP, they're looking for qualifications that your resume is not highlighting properly, right? So think of it as if you've received any awards in your company while you were working there, or you've given some presentations or done some white papers while you were studying in college or in university. And those are things that your resume will not properly highlight because it's just a list of things you've done. This is a chance for you to highlight those other things, right? Which will say, these are the qualifications that make me stand out compared to all the other people who applied alongside me. And I am better than all of them, right? That's what it does. Very important. It may seem very obvious when I say that the SOP has to be positive, but it's something that a lot of students miss out, guys. Like when I read statements of purposes, it's just amazing how, a lot of students will start their SOP saying, oh, I had this really bad experience and I'm not a very positive person, or I'm not a very this, and I do not have this particular experience, or I do not have this qualification, and this course will help me build it. Note that as humans, if you look at just the way we are cognitively placed in our heads, all that will create a sort of a negative notion. So you have to make sure that your SOP is always positive, right? It's always talking about positive. Even if you have to write about some negative aspects of your past, it has to be put in active voice. Right? I'm sure a lot of you know what the difference between active and passive voice is, right? Because you've probably given your GRE and GMAT and other things. So it has to always be in active voice. It has to sound positive, right? Very important. Third, it has to be goal-oriented, which means that at the end of it, the admissions counselor who's looking at your SOP is going to look at one simple thing. Okay, it's great, whatever you've done, you've got an amazing GPA and you've got these great qualifications. But what's your goal? Is your goal aligned with what the program is built for? That's what they're looking for. And the fourth is they're looking for the fact that you followed all the instructions that you were given, right? It may sound trivial, but if the instructions say SOP not to exceed 2 pages, or SOP not to exceed 1500 words and has to be single spacing, blah, 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 that's the first thing that they're looking for. They won't even read your SOP if it's longer than what they're intended to receive, or it doesn't look right in terms of the way it's organized with the font size or whatever. So just make sure those little things are followed, right? So these are the 4 kind of large, again, strokes that the SOP has to address, okay? Now, let's do a quick poll. I don't know if I can view the poll myself, but I'm sure my team can, and they'll tell me. So we have 2 questions for you, which we want you to answer so that I'll know exactly what points to focus on, right? We have enough participants now, So I'll request my team to launch the first poll, and here it is, right? So the question is, have you already written your SOP? Yes or no? If most of you have not, I will know that I have to focus on the basics. If most of you have, I know that I have to focus on you actually reviewing and getting it proofread and stuff like that. So just answer those questions, and I'll request my team to tell me the exact answers, because I'm not seeing it on my screen. I'm actually seeing the question. I'm just going to answer it myself. Okay. Okay, we'll wait maybe a minute for you guys to answer those questions. Okay. Okay, the chat is up here. Okay, Satik says he hasn't written his SOP yet. Okay. All right. Oops. Oh, there's some malfunction. Let's see. Escape. Okay, so most of you have not written your SOP yet. Fine. So let's talk about that then. Let's talk about how you have to go after your SOP. I'm seeing 70% of 71% of you have not written your SOP. All right, cool. I have another question, but I think we'll keep that for later. It's not so relevant as whether you're applying for grad or undergrad, because there's a little difference, but we'll come to that a little later, right? Okay, so before you start writing your SOP, and before you even look at this slide and what has to go in your SOP, I have some quick tips and tactics for you, right? So an SOP is not something that you can just sit for 1 hour and say, okay, I'm going to just write down I know my past, I know my future, I'm just going to write it down. No, it has to evolve. A statement of purpose takes time, guys. So you have to think of a way to just efficiently put your thoughts together while you're on the road, or while you're sitting somewhere sipping your coffee. So the best way, like what I did for my statements of purposes, which I used to apply to schools, and I got through a bunch of those schools, including Yale and UBC and all of these schools, right? What I did is, okay, could you please tell the second question again? Okay. So I think we will ask that question soon. Okay, it's not yet there, but that question is whether you've done grad or undergrad. Whether you're applying for grad or undergrad, sorry. So, okay. So when I applied and I got through all of those schools, I took a lot of time. And you know what I used mostly was my phone. So in my notes section, every time a thought came to my mind about what I did that I was really proud about, or what I really wanted in my future, I had 3 sections, right? Past, current, and future. And I just noted a few bullet points. And then when I actually sat down to write my first draft of my SOP, those notes came really very handy, right? Because the way your brain is wired is that it will suddenly tell you these things from your past or your future or what you really want, and then you'll forget it. So you just note it down, right? But when you start writing, the way I would look at it, I made it easy for you guys, is think of it in three categories, right? What, how, and why, okay? And it's simple. So these are the kind of things that your SOP needs to address, okay? First is what, which means what part of your past experience is something that really built you as a person. Okay, so when I say past experience, I don't mean just list down, okay, 4 years I worked in marketing and I did this with a team of 8 people and we grew our Facebook page likes from whatever 10,000 to 1 million. No, when you're writing about your past experience, write about things that your resume will not talk about, right? So write about, okay, if you were in the marketing team, what was your experience in that marketing team that really built you as a person, and try to tie it in to the program and everything, right? So for instance, what I did, I wanted to do my MBA, and I was very focused on doing a 1-year MBA. That's all I wanted. I did not want to specialize in finance or marketing, right? For those of you who don't know, I got a 1-year MBA with a 100% scholarship. And I'm sure the SOP was a big part of why I got the scholarship and why I got that MBA as well. So what I did was I started looking at the school and what kind of professors were there and what they were teaching. And I tied my past experience to those professors. So for instance, I went to Bentley University to do my MBA. That's the one I got the full scholarship from. I browsed through all the professors' profiles at Bentley, and I browsed through all of the departments. And what I realized is that Bentley had something called the CMT, the Center for Marketing Technology, right? So I tied it to my experience, and I said, I really feel that the experience I had with marketing needs to be upgraded, because I need to get used to technology, and I know that technology is the future, and the Center for Marketing Technology brings all of this together, and that's why I want to be there, right? So you need to find a way to take your past and tie it to something that when they read it, they like, oh wow, this person actually researched about the school, and they're tying something that they did with what's in the school. They're really motivated, right? That's the way they're thinking, okay? The second is, what is unique about you, okay? Each one of you is unique, right? We might say, oh yeah, I'm just an average person. I have average scores and I have average everything. No, force yourself to figure out what's that one unique thing that you have and the hundreds of other people don't have. That is very important, because they have, so on an average, we'll talk about this soon, but on an average, the admissions counselor is going to look at your documents for about 7 seconds. 7 seconds, guys, that's it. So in that 7 seconds, something unique has to come up, right? Otherwise, think of it, when you're reading somebody's text, if it doesn't strike you, you're going to be like, oh, next, right? So think about what's unique about you, and you have to put it in paper. Third is, what are your professional and academic goals? Very, very, very important question in the what section is, what are your goals? Okay, because there's a lot of people applying and there's a lot of people dropping out of school as well, right? So the first year dropout rates are pretty high, people get low grades. So schools always want to see, what is your goal? Are you really motivated to meet that goal? So jot these things down in your notes. Don't start writing your SOP yet. Just try, even, take a screenshot of this, or just note all these points down that you see on the screen. And whenever you think of something, add it to that section, okay? And keep it in your notes somewhere, either on your phone, on your laptop. This will all come in handy to make sure that you're not missing the points, okay? That's the what section. The second is the how section. First question to answer in the how section is, how prepared are you for this career? Okay. Now, in the end, everybody knows that about 90–95% students who go to study are there because they want to find the right job that matches their profile and that they are really interested in doing, right? For some of you, or most of you, just like me, it could be that you are actually making a career switch. You might be doing something like biotechnology. You might want to go into marketing or something else, or just a general business degree. But that's something that you have to highlight in your goals, and then you also have to somehow show how prepared you are for that. Career switch is completely okay, and schools are completely welcome to that, but you have to prove to them that you're not just bringing it out of the blue because you saw somewhere that a data scientist is getting $140,000 a year US, and therefore you want to just switch to be a data scientist. That's not really a convincing answer on why you are prepared for this career, right? It has to be much, much deeper. Okay, Now, the next how question is how will this program help? And I've purposely marked it as super important because it is the most important question on your SOP is, will this program help you? And if yes, how will it help you? You have to answer this question in your SOP, guys, okay? So make sure that you research the program well, go to the website, look at the program, look at the individual courses that are available in that program, okay? These are all public information mostly. If they're not, if you reach out to the admissions office, they will give you the list of all the courses in that program. Look through all of that, okay? And look at the professors who are teaching it. And make sure that you hit on this one point that makes them go, wow, this person actually researched the program, researched our school, and they really know why this program will help them. Trust me, if you add that to your SOP, especially in the starting parts of your SOP, it will just do an immense lot for you, okay? And okay, so the third how question is, how will, sorry for the typo, oh no, there's no typo. How will you help this program, okay? Now, as students, especially, you know, when I talk to students around India, we are always looking for, oh yeah, this is what I will gain from this program, or even when you're applying for a job, this is how I will, you know, I want to learn new things and I want to do these things. But remember, the school is also looking for how will you help that program. Why are you a better candidate for that program than someone else? Okay, so you also have to highlight the fact that I think the program will benefit a lot because I bring these rich and varied, vivid experiences with me that I can share with my class, with my cohort, and they will really benefit from me a lot because I am a very unique person, and that unique is answered in your what is unique about you question, right? This is what is unique about me, and this is what I will bring to the program. I'm a fun person and I really like doing whatever I like doing, and the class will really benefit from it, right? So those are things you have to write. Like for me, for instance, I had a business background already because I was working as a business executive, and I had a biotechnology background. So I kind of fused it in a way in which I said, I understand the nuances of business while I also understand the technicalities and details of biotech. Plus, I'm in IT, so I love technology. So this is the unique blend that I'm going to bring to this program, right? So similarly, you also have to do the same. I know some of you are asking questions. We will look at that in the end for sure. We'll spend some time, okay? All right, so that's the how section. The third section is the why section, okay? Again, I've said this again and again, is why you and not someone else. It has to be very clear on why should they take only you, right? All the questions on the top will sort of start answering that mega question of why you and not someone else. Why are you interested in this program? Slightly different from how will the program help you. You can say you are interested in this program because it has a unique blend of technology and basic sciences, if it's something of that sort. And you are interested in this program because it could even be that your family lives in that area, and that's why it's the most convenient for you because you can travel from there. They will take care of you. Like. It's okay to say those things, okay? Because if you say that your family lives there, they know that you're serious, and there's a high chance that if they give you a good scholarship, if they give you the admit, you will join it. And that's why you are most interested in that program. So these are things that you can say. You can even say that I was part of this elite gang of students in my undergrad, and most of that gang is actually studying at this program. And I have heard a lot of amazing things about it. Again, I'm just generalizing it, but be specific, okay? Why are you the best fit? Again, it's the same as sort of why you, not someone else. Highlight things about yourself, okay? So what, how, and why. Answer these three categories of questions and you should be good for your SOP, okay? All right. Let's see. Oops. Okay, will we broach about? Satik is asking a question. Will we broach about eminent personalities who have already passed from the university and excel? Yes, when you're writing about yes, it also shows that you've researched the school, right? So if you want to write about eminent personalities, again, don't be cliche and write about, you know, Bill Gates, and if you're applying to Harvard, write about Bill Gates dropped out and whatever, like, or you know, write about some big eminent personality. It's kind of cliche. Talk about someone who has, you know, say won a Nobel Prize in economics, and they have gone to that school, and you want to really do something in economics, and you have been following this person, and you know, it definitely adds a lot to your profile, I must say. Okay. Now, some important, I would say, housekeeping tasks when you are writing. First is the 7-second rule. Okay, I put that number there. Usually it's the famous 3-second rule, but for SOPs I call it the 7-second rule. Okay, because technically, when a human reads any text, they are mostly focused on the text for about 7 seconds, right? This is I mean, there is of course research around this, but also you will notice it, right? That when you're reading something, you will read the first few sentences. If it excites you, you're going to go further. If not, you're going to move away from that piece of text. So remember that the first part of your SOP has to impress the reader, has to impress the admissions counselor. So pay a lot of attention to those first few lines, because if you mess up on those, then no matter how good the rest of your statement of purpose is, they're not going to read it. It's just human. It is nothing against the admissions counselor. Okay, so make it impactful. Make it such that, you know, it's like, oh, interesting. Like, start with a quote. Okay, don't just Google a random quote and put it there. Start with a quote that can somewhere associate with your life, with your past or something, right? Or start with, you know, this incident of mine where blah 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 happened, or you know, something that just strikes the person, and then start building off of that, and it will really help you when you're writing your SOP to start that way, right? Now, second is the tone. So this is an important one, and tone is something that you may not perfectly understand whether you're writing in the right tone. So this is where it's very important to get your SOP proofread by a lot of people. You know, give it to your professors, give it to your friends. Don't be scared that they'll come back, they'll judge you, they'll say something negative about what you wrote. No, it's okay. Negative feedback is also good. Take it constructively, improve upon your SOP, but give it to people, because they might come back and say, hey, you sound a little harsh, or you sound a little aggressive, or you know, you sound too mellow. So it's important that the tone of your SOP is it's personal, it's active, it's very progressive, that you know, you are a very progressive person and you want to really learn new things and you want to change the world, you know, that kind of stuff. Okay, but it also has to be academic in style, guys. Important. Okay, you are dealing with admissions counselors who are academic staff, and if you're applying to the US or UK, remember that for them, academic style is so important. This is how I want students to write, and that's how I want them to write, right? So make sure that you don't put too many jargons. Make sure that you don't use wanna, kinda, gonna, do this, right? No. Make sure that they're proper sentences, and they sound legit, okay? The third is have an active voice with a first person point of view. Very important. I'm sure you all know the difference between active and passive voice, and the difference between first, second, and third person. Make sure that it's active voice, first person, right? When you write it that way, any piece of text already looks elevated and it looks motivating. Okay, it's important. Chronological information. Make sure that your SOP follows a little bit of chronology, right? Which means it goes from, here's what I did in the past, then because of that, this is what happened to me, because of that, I want to study in this program, because it meets my final vision. Like, make sure that you kind of align those, because humans are programmed to read chronology, okay? You cannot switch between, like, don't do flashbacks and then do future, something. So make sure that's there. The next very important point, I'm sure a lot of you are thinking of, taking it to some expert and making your language the best that the world has ever seen, with the most, curve bending, nerve wracking words that you can use. No, keep it simple. Keep it as simple as you can. Don't do this right click on a word and find another synonym for that word, which actually sounds much better. No, it's not really necessary. Okay. Writing in the most simplistic of languages actually tells them that you're a simple person. You're not, like, that's how you want to come across as. You don't want to come across as some obnoxious, English language expert. Even if you are, keep it simple, right? I know a lot of you must be really good at language, but you don't know how the other person is on the other end. Okay, so even if it's the US or UK and like England is where English was born, no, there will be people who are just not that skilled in the language as you are. So keep it as simple as you can. Simplicity tells a lot. Okay. There's a question there. I'll go to that in a moment. Okay. Explore templates. Yes. Explore, write, rewrite. So look at templates, but don't use templates directly. Okay. They know. The admission staff are looking at thousands of SOPs every year. They know if you're using a template. Okay. So look at those templates. Sorry about the horn. Oh God. Yeah. So take a look, but then write your own. Okay, it's very important. Build your own template in your mind. I gave you all the points that you have to think about. Use that to form a template. Okay, and then show it to people, show it to experts, show it to even us at iSchoolConnect. We are there to help as well. Okay, and you'll know what to write and how to write it. Okay. 1,000 to 2,000 words depending on the school's requirement. Now, some schools will even say do not exceed 2 pages. Okay, so you know what that means, because you're going to use standard formatting. You're going to use single spacing, mostly a standard 12 size font on a Word document, and you will know either if there's a word limit, Microsoft Word shows you what the word limit is. Or if it's a 2-page limit, you know if the Word document is exceeding 2 pages. Okay, make sure that you don't exceed the limit, and also they will actually appreciate it if you cut it shorter. Okay, I know it sounds a little counterintuitive, but a lot of the best admission essays and SOPs that got selected had like a 2-page limit, but were just between a page to a page and a half. Okay, if you can make your thoughts concise enough and beautiful enough to go in a page and a half, you don't have to meet that 2-page requirement. They're not looking for that. Okay, in fact, they will appreciate it if you cut it shorter. Trust me, that's how it works there. I know, especially for Indian students, we are used to writing the exact word limit because that's how we are evaluated, right? If you've written 8 pages on an answer for your test, then you get 8 points or 8 marks. Doesn't work that way there. So the more concise you make it, but with better and really rich and quality information about yourself, the better it is for an exam. Okay, let's look at the couple of questions we have. Okay, Satik seems to be the most active. I request the others also to ask questions if you have. It may happen that sometimes my SOP or personal statement may somehow be similar to another student's. In that case, will academia and extracurricular record be taken into priority? First of all, your SOP if you are writing it from scratch yourself, cannot be similar to anybody else's. Everybody's profile is different, right? So like I said, if you're only writing what you've done in your resume, then yes, it might be similar to somebody else's, but your SOP should be different. Your SOP should write about aspects that form you as a person, and it will never be similar to somebody else's. Okay, and extracurriculars and all of that, yeah, that's exactly what you should be writing more in your SOP, because they are looking for what builds you as an overall personality. All right. Augustine, can I use one SOP to apply to multiple schools? Absolutely, absolutely. You can use the same statement of purpose to apply to other schools, but the parts of your SOP where you are writing about why this program is a fit and why this university is a fit, trust me, I have seen so many SOPs where it's just copied from one SOP to other for the same student, which is fine, but they forgot to change that aspect, change the name of the program, change the name of the school and what they saw in that school, right? Make sure you're paying attention and changing that part, okay? Like for instance, I wrote about the Center for Marketing Technology at Bentley. Obviously, I couldn't take the same text and apply it to some other SOP, right? So you have to be very careful, okay? Yes, it does apply to personal statements also. You can definitely use the same, it applies to even essays, right? All your essays, resumes, SOPs, and personal statements can be replicated across multiple programs. But the part where you write about that program and about that university and about that country, make sure that you're not making any mistakes there. Don't take an SOP for USA and write it for a UK university and keep the country name same. Right? Very important. So, okay. All right. Something that a lot of students don't know. How do they know that your statement of purpose is authentic? And it's actually you who have written it and not somebody else, right? This is where your AWA score comes into play, okay? So your analytical writing assessment score in your GRE or your GMAT exam is actually used as a reference point to see if your SOP is authentic, right? Sounds not so intuitive, right? But that's exactly how it is. So if your SOP has the best language and it's this is the best they've ever read, but your AWA score on your test is like a 1, 2, 3, 4, then they know that you are not a good writer, but you somehow have written such a good SOP, which means most likely you have taken somebody else's help, right? So it's very important, guys. Make sure that, first of all, make sure if you have still not given your GRE, GMAT, that you have a nice template and whatever, you practice your AWA well, because that score is usually correlated with the quality of your SOP. Okay, so if you're in the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 scores in your AWA, then they are expecting to also see a lower performance in your SOP in terms of the language. Okay, so correlated, right? If you're writing an outstanding, if you got an outstanding 6.0 in your AWA and your SOP looks really good with the good language and everything, perfect. Right? They know that, you know, it's most likely you who have written it. Okay. All right. When to start writing your SOP? So if you're applying for fall 2019, there's quite a few months left, or say you're applying for even fall 2020, you're applying, and say you're applying for 2021. No, you should start writing today. Today is the day, right? At least start putting your thoughts together. You don't have to frame your entire SOP, but just start writing, because your mind will take some time to just come up with the best way to write your SOP. You sleep over it, you wake up, the next day you read it, you're going to be like, oh my God, was it me who wrote that line? Then you change it again, right? So this happens, it's just human nature. So the earlier you start, the better. And like I said, make notes on your phone. Okay, helps a lot. Just put little pointers on what makes you as a person, what you really want to do. or just use stickies on your wall. But make sure that you first start with that, high level points, and then you start writing. Okay. Now, take help from different tools that are available in the market. Okay, so there are even humans who actually check your SOP for some fee, and I think it's usually a little higher fee. But there are also tools like at iSchoolConnect. When students enroll with our platform, I'm sure a lot of you know that we have an AI-driven, it's artificial intelligence-driven admissions tool. And one of the toolkits in iSchoolConnect is a document grader, okay? And what the document grader does is it looks at your SOP and essays in real time while you are typing it. And it will look for things like sentence structure, it will check your grammar, it will detect plagiarism. So even if you copied some text and you have not changed it properly, and it looks like plagiarized, it will show it, okay? It will look for readability as well. It will do some subjective grading. Let's look at a few slides in detail, okay? So, like this is how the tool looks, right? So while you're writing here, it's constantly just looking for whether you've written about your self-motivation, whether you've written about your work experience, your choice of program, future goals post-education, and it will give you amber, red, and green lights. And when you click on it, it will even tell you what to write. But it won't write for you, obviously, right? Because we consider it unethical for us to write your statement of purpose. And if somebody else is promising you that they will write statement of purpose, don't do it, guys. Don't do it. Even though it sounds very lucrative that you just pay some money and somebody writes your statement of purpose, no. They're never gonna write your SOP with the same ambition and the same vision as you yourself, okay? And good readers and good experts of English can quickly read through that and know if it's you or somebody else who's written it, okay? Who's written it. So write it on your own, but make use of tools like these, okay? Like here, there's a readability score, okay? Indian students, I know a lot of you like to write really long sentences, but you should know that people outside cannot read long sentences that are more than 15 words. So your readability score is important and the tool checks for it, okay? Word count, all of those checks are kept in mind, okay? It will give you some details on what to write, the must-haves and all of that. That's what the tool also does. But look at this. So this is the language section, right? It's highlighting all your long sentences, the ones that are causing your readability scores to go down. So these kind of tools will actually help you a lot while you're writing, because English, even though it's a first language for most people, but when it comes to writing essays, we are not really used to it, right? Especially a statement of purpose is probably most of you are writing it for the first time. So make use of tools, but write yourself, write it yourself, because nobody knows you more than yourself, right? That's my advice, guys, to all of you. Okay. Okay. All right. Finally, here's an offer. If you apply and register with iSchoolConnect within the next 24 hours, then we will do a free shortlisting for all of you. Okay, a free university shortlisting, which will cover about 6 institutions. And the way we do shortlisting is we look at 2 programs that are dream programs, where you might have less than a 10% chance of getting through, but you should still apply. And reach programs, which are sort of mid-range, and safe programs, where you'll have probably more than an 80% chance of getting an admit. So that shortlisting we will offer to do for free, just for you patrons and subscribers who have liked us, who have been with us, who've subscribed to us, and who've joined this webinar. So that's something we give off. Okay, so that's that. Okay, finally, reach us here. That's our website and our phone number. we have a customer service team, we have a counseling and sales team, and we have the experts for each country who can help and guide you. Because at iSchoolConnect, we believe that it's about you getting the right fit. Okay, so we have more than 100,000 programs across the globe, and we are not biased towards any program. We work with you and we help you figure out, even if it's your documents, your visas, and everything. And of course, very important, follow us on all our social channels. I have a YouTube page which gets a lot of subscribers. It's called the Global Survival Guide, but we also have an iSchoolConnect social channel as well. And you get a lot of this information for free, okay, on how to do your applications and stuff. All right. So, okay, some questions. Is AWA score evaluated only on the basis of GRE or other exams, or do they take all the exams into account? It depends on what exam scores you have submitted. So a GMAT exam also has an AWA section, right? So if you have submitted a GMAT score to a business program, then they're going to look at the AWA GMAT score, okay? Is AWA, okay, that's the same one. How about already registered candidates? Can we still leverage the free university shortlisting? Yes, absolutely. Reach out to us. And Augustine, some of my team folks will reach out to you personally, okay? If you've already registered and you're on the webinar, you've maybe not made any payments or anything, it's completely all right. We like to help students as much as we can, for sure. So we will do that, okay? Okay. Abhinav said, you received shortlisting among other things through CRED, but never received a response. I am absolutely sorry, and I apologize for that. Abhinav, when was this CRED application that you had submitted? Was it recently or in the past? If you can just send that also on the chat, because we get a lot of requests every day. Recently, okay. So that's probably the issue, because we have a big enough team, but still we get at least 200 new registrations every day, and it becomes a real chaos for us. We want to help all of you students because that's our goal. That's also my personal motive in starting this company. Is first, it's about helping you get the right applications done, get the right admit. And we will definitely reach out, Abhinav. I have taken the note myself, and I will make sure I talk to the team, okay? Okay. Any other questions? We have about 7 minutes left. Let's see, anything from marketing? No, it's all good. Okay. Perfect. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a pleasure, as always. We'll keep doing more webinars on more items as we move on. As you move closer to your visa dates, we'll probably have some webinars on how to prepare for your visa interview and all of those things, okay? And also some post-visa kind of questions that we will answer as well. So remember that we're always there. Our goal is to make everybody educated around the globe, and we will do this one by one, and we will help you all, okay? That's our goal as well. We have one more from Shanuja. Can I highlight a particular aspect of my SOP in bold or italic to give more emphasis? Will this be considered appropriate within a structured format? Yes, explore, do what you feel like. I actually put an image in my SOP. Okay, I put an image of me receiving an award back in the day because it was worth it. And I said, this is something. These things add flavor. These are what will make your SOP stand out compared to others, okay? So that's that. Okay, one more question we have from Steffi. Sorry, the doubt I'm going to ask is not regarding SOP. I am a PhD research scholar of English. My area of research is Canadian drama. Well, that's amazing, first of all, Steffi. To be precise, it is on a particular dramatist called Sharon Pollock. Working on it for a year, I feel like I couldn't understand few things and connect it to my research due to cultural gap. Is there any chance for me to apply for a program that offers international research that could be of much help to fill the research gap? Yes, there are definitely a lot of programs in that space. We would like to know your profile a little bit more, Steffi. I don't know where you are located, which country and where, but my team will definitely reach out to you. And if there's any help we can do just in the short term, you probably don't even have to register. But if you want to apply to some programs, you can register as well. But they will reach out to you for sure. Okay. Okay. Nikhil Fernandez is asking a question. How much weight does my SOP hold in comparison to all things in my university application? Typically, Nikhil, it's about 30%. About 30% of your application is actually your statement of purpose and your other essays combined. Okay, 30% is yours. Another 30% is your scores, your GPA, your GMAT scores, and all of that. But a third, that's about almost. That's a lot, right? So 30% is what you are aiming for with all of these documents. So pay a lot of attention, okay? And a good SOP can help you offset your lower GPA or your lower GMAT score or anything of that sort, right? It will really talk about you. Remember that when your application goes out, your application packet first has your resume, then it has your test score, and then the immediate next thing is your SOP, okay? Before your transcripts and all of that. So they will look at your SOP pretty quickly, and it will influence them a lot in your admission decisions. All right, that's it. We have a few more questions, but we can probably answer that one-on-one. We will send you responses on email for sure, guys. But thank you so much for joining. This has been such a pleasure. You guys take care, and good luck with all your applications, and hope you all get through. That's been my wish forever. Steffi says, thank you. That's amazing. Thank you so much for joining, all of you. We will definitely reach out to the ones who have questions and who need some more answers. Thank you so much. Take care and goodbye.